What's up, guys? The Lazy Goldmaker. Today we're taking a look at enchanting in Dragonflight and how you can make a profit with this profession. So enchanting, a oldie but a goodie. We can take a look at the recipes we can craft in Dragonflight. We get cloak enchants, chest enchants, bracers, boots, rings, weapons, and profession tools for the typical enchants. That's quite a lot of slots. Then we have rods and wands. This includes profession tools and a wand, a weapon. Then there's illusory goods, which is weapon illusions, toys, all that jazz. And then you get to shatter some of your profession materials. And there's a battle pet. So that's it for the recipes. Now, in general, it's not going to come as a surprise that for a profession like this, I greatly prefer the power increasing items. So that means the enchants and possibly the weapon. That's what we can typically expect to make money of. Now, one very interesting thing about enchanting, though, is as you can see here with the resonant crystal, the enchanting materials, they don't have a quality. You can't actually increase your quality with the materials, which is very, very interesting. So it's going to be it'll be interesting to see how that plays out with things like recipe skill and all that jazz. That means you will have access to less skill effectively because you won't get the 75 boost from using high quality materials, which is going to make it harder to get to max quality. But on the flip side, that also makes it a lot more valuable to do disenchanting because you'll get the same types of materials, the same quality. You won't get the same quantity though, because there are some talent points here that have a large effect, but you'll get the same quantity, so that's interesting. If we look at the specialization trees, we have the enchantment tree, which focuses on enchants. There's one subnode here focused on the elemental aspected ones, which is pretty much weapons. That's the main part here. And then you have this part, which is focused on gear enchants. You have this is chests and rings, which is where you get the throughput increasing ones. And then you have for profession tools, and you have one node for bracers and cloak. Bracers and cloak enchants, they just have tertiary stats, so just like speed, avoidance, leech, which is useful, but I think people are going to be willing to pay less. People usually care a little bit more about the straight throughput. Then you have Insight of the Blue, which gives you some various bonuses, but also increases your chance of getting things. You can locate mystic items that you can disenchant with this Insight of the Blue, and then you have Draconic Disenchanting, which increases the chance of getting good stuff when you disenchant. Essentially, you'll get more better stuff. You can get vibrant shards, you can get resonant crystals, I think eventually. A small chance of getting the epic recipe or the epic gem when you disenchant normal items. So there you can definitely do a build here where you just put points into this and get to the first sub-specialization, and then you max out Draconic Disenchantment, and then you're done and you have some pretty effective disenchanting. So that's something that I think is going to be potentially pretty good. There's also, interestingly, a lot of generic skill nodes in these last trees, which you will need, by the way, if you want to get close to quality 5 crafting, which is actually very, very hard. So as you can see from looking at the knowledge point breakdowns here, getting to quality 5 consistently for a lot of these recipes requires incredible amounts of knowledge. And that's probably not the best way to go. For quality 5 weapons, as far as I can tell, now I haven't put every point in yet because I want to show you some builds. But as far as I can tell, you can just barely, you'll fall a little bit short, even putting everything in for the wafting, devotion, the weapon enchants. You can get to 423, 422, something like that, which is just a tad bit too short. Which means, what does that mean? Well, it means you need to rely on inspiration to get there. And as you can see here, getting there with inspiration is not that hard. I have 175 skill right now. I've maxed out skill. I haven't put that many points in. We've just maxed out inspiration. And then I can get 20 skill from my profession gear, which I'm not wearing. So 20 skill from that. And if you look at my inspiration bonus right now, when inspiration procs, it gives me 213 bonus skills. So I need to get this skill here up to 212, and I'd be there. And I could get that with a little bit more knowledge, or with just putting in professional accessories, 20 points, and then I'd need another 20, which I could get from specialization here, from just a base node in an enchantment, for instance, just putting 20 points here, and I'd be done. So that would not be hard at all to get to with inspiration, relying on inspiration. So you'd probably need about, well, right now I put 70 points in. We can get I think with 20 more points you'd get to where you could get max quality with inspiration for the weapon enchants. So that's what you'd be aiming for, or you could add the illustrious insight if you have that, and I'd be pretty much there already. Just need profession tools and illustrious insight. So inspiration is the way to go with enchanting, in my opinion. If you want to craft enchants, that is. And another reason is because for enchants, you can just craft them. You can mass craft and then sell the ones that proc good on the auction house for a lot of money. And there's no quality to the reagents, so getting the reagents is going to be relatively easy, in my opinion, because there's no quality. Literally everything you disenchant is going to give max quality, stuff you can craft max quality gear with. So that's overall what I think enchanting is looking like. Now, if you want to look at how to spend your knowledge points, there are multiple different builds possible here. Right now, this is where something you'd like should go if you're looking for a optimized weapon enchant crafting build. Then you want to put 20, 30 points into enchantment to start unlocking the final nodes here. And then putting all these points, you can use illustrious insight if you have the metal to guarantee max quality, or alternatively you can go a little bit lighter on the final nodes here and put more points into rods, runes and ruses. You will need 2 talent trees for this, and you want to focus on whatever recipes you want to unlock here first. Final choice will depend on simulations, what enchant is the best one. And then you want to put 10 points into rods, runes and ruses, and then you want to blast inspiration. Get all of these plus percentage bonuses from the final nodes. This is incredibly good for mass crafting enchants. And then you can put more points into this base node as well. This is very good with multiple strong bonuses, including plus 10 skill as the final one. Or you can go with the primal node, which has bonuses for all of the enchants, or even this one to get the other side of the enchants. If you want to focus on the chests and rings, which is the other like power throughput increasing nodes, then you'd put another 10 points here, 10 points in material manipulation, and then you go into magical reinforcement, and then you want to max all of these nodes eventually as well. Now the other build you could go is here in Inside of the Blue, which is like the unique thing. This first 3 here gives you a chance to find items. So essentially you loot mystic items that you can disenchant. We don't care about that so much, but what we very much care about is this draconic disenchantment, which is incredibly good. Once you unlock the first sub-specialization, you can put points here. And all of these big nodes increases the yield of enchanting, and when you get to the final point, you can get the epic disenchant from any item. So this is very, very powerful. If you can get 50 knowledge, that will, for a disenchanter, that's how much you need. 10 points here, and then the 40 points to max out draconic disenchantment. That's a very good build for a disenchanting alt where you're not going to do anything else. And then if you get more knowledge, then you can use that for resourcefulness or something else. I'm not sure how they impact disenchanting. But those are the main builds that I'd consider with enchanting. I think you could also go for the wand build if you wanted to craft wands. Then you'd put points into rods and wands, max out these 2 nodes only. Which is not that it's just one recipe. Like if you want to craft weapons, then you're not going to go enchanting. So I think this is pretty pointless. If you want to go enchanting, then you want to go into this part of it, and you want to try to be first to market with quality 5, or you want to just chill and disenchant, and you go into Inside of the Blue, and you can be any skill level you want and just spam disenchant for very easy, very simple gold. that's where I would go. Now, as for where to get the recipes, there's a good mix of places you can get them. There's a good number of recipes that you get from reputations for enchanting. And they're spread out, but the good news is that you get them fairly early on. They're renown 9, 10, most of them. Outside of that, it's pretty much knowledge and some from the trainer. None of the relevant recipes are really tradable on the auction house. I think the only one I saw that was like the it was one of the, maybe one Primal Mastery. This one, drops from the raid, can be sold on the auction house, the recipe. This might sell. It's potentially a cool enchant. I'm not sure how it looks. Doesn't really matter. As I said, most of this is going to come from knowledge or from the renown, from the reputations. So you definitely want to focus on your reputations early, and just make sure you get knowledge, because if you want to keep doing enchants at a high skill, then you will need to continuously put more knowledge points in to make sure that you're even with everyone else on resourcefulness, on inspiration, on the ability to craft enchants, essentially. So that's it. I think enchant is looking fine. I think the ability to rely on inspiration is a little bit interesting, and I think that if you can find the optimal build, if you spend some time like absolutely optimizing your Herbalism knowledge build, then I think that has some real potential to get to quality 5 early. I think that would give you some very strong possibilities here. As you can see now, if I don't have enough materials, but if I craft these enough, then I'd eventually proc get an inspired craft and proc an absolutely massive quality. Or we just get quality 1 on the basics, but when inspiration procs, we're probably going to get to quality 4 if I got one. So yeah, enchants, they take a long time to craft. There's huge profit potential here. We will need to figure out which weapon enchant is the best one, and then trying to get enough inspiration to get lucky procs and get to quality 5 is probably the way to go. And then you can do the same trick essentially with the other enchants. Just get them to quality 5 through getting lucky with inspiration, stack inspiration on your professional accessories and tools, and go to town. That's it, guys. Thanks for watching. See you on the next preview video.